morning, Bulldog Nation. Welcome to our next Coach's Corner here on GoRedlands.com. I'm Lance Frady, Sports Information Director here at the University of Redlands, and joining me here on the Bulldog Sports Network is head men's basketball coach Eric Bridgeland. Bridge, thanks for joining me today.
Lance, you're a beast. I'm very, very excited about this.
Yeah, no, it's great to see you this morning. I know you're a busy man with basketball camps happening, but first things first, we're in the summertime right now. So what have you and your family been up to? Have you been able to get some relaxation in?
You know, we just got back from our first vacation in 3 years. So with the pandemic stuff and the job change, so we were 10 days in Florida, loved every second of it, back, rejuvenated, all the above. It was fantastic. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking back on last season, you dealt with a number of obstacles from COVID-19, where you had limited fans in attendance. You also had a number of injuries that forced you to play with a limited roster at times. Now, how did you keep the team in the moment and together throughout the season?
I mean, I think it goes down to like what why we're doing what we're doing, right? Teaching them how to be successful in a group environment and having a truckload of fun while we're doing it. Mm-hmm. So, the way that we go about stuff is we're detached from outcome. Like the first year players and the second year players, sometimes it takes them a while to get to that point. But everything happens for a reason. We just want to have fun. We want to keep growing. Wins and losses are kind of outcomes, so we don't focus on that. We focus on the lessons that both of those give. So whatever comes up, we just look at it as a challenge and try to adapt to it and get better by it. Of
course. Now, on the flip side of things, let's talk about some of the highlights from the season, because you did have a talented group of guys on the team. Yeah, I mean, we essentially had 11 players that had never played college basketball before, or had less than 5 games of experience coming in. Just crazy, right? Wow. And then we had 2 seniors that both had played in 4 full seasons, right? So it was it was like you had this group down here that had no idea what they were doing, and then you had 2 superstars, right? So it was super, super fun getting them together. It was like essentially a brand new roster. So, the first things you got to do is get them to care about each other and respect each other and have fun together. And we had a couple of trips early that really, really helped that. Whenever you get on a plane and you get off a plane and you're in another place, there's just bonding that happens, right? And so that was crucial for us. And I felt like we really, really hit our stride in mid-December. I mean, we were practicing really, really well. And we played Cal State Fullerton to a great game there, a Division I Cal State. And I thought that if we would have played it here, that we had a chance to win that game, even with the roster that we had. And then, a COVID hit. And we had guys that were out. Most of our roster was out for about a month. 5 weeks, and that just kind of like we had a new season after that kind of, So I think it culminated. We lost Johnny Duckett, of course, to a broken hand, one of our seniors in late January. But like what you hope as a coach is, or at least I do, is when they're done, they can look back and go, I know how to be successful in a group environment. This is one way that we did it that works, and so they can apply that when they leave Redlands, right? Because that's what life is, a group environment, right? How do I add value to that group? How to be successful in that group? And so I think we got to a point where we lost in the conference tournament on the road, and everybody in that locker room was inconsolable. I mean, that's usually something that happens in year 2, 3, maybe even 4 of a program. They care about each other. They didn't want the journey to end. They didn't want to let each other down. And early on, usually it's, half or 2/3 or 3/4, but every single guy was just devastated. And if, as a rookie coach, I remember thinking, gosh, is this a bad thing? Am I doing this right? Are we doing this right? Should it be like this? But then you start to realize, that's the secret sauce of stuff. That's lasting, that's memorable, that's deep. That's when I knew that, okay, even after 1 year, our culture's been established. And that's the biggest thing, right? Establishing that elite relationship-based culture as quickly as you can as a new staff. And ours is in. Pretty exciting. Of course. And you seeing the growth of your players throughout the season was impressive. And for what you've gone through to be able to make the SCIAC tournament with that limited roster, but everyone bonded together at the end, and you took them under your wing throughout the season. You were having them over for gatherings, community service. They were involved on campus. They were doing it all.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the first thing. Get them here, and like we said, like when we opened up, right, get them to care about each other and respect each other and see different sides of each other. So we're heavy into community service. We do a truckload of stuff off the floor together. Everything from pumpkin carving contests to over at the Burridge Mansion for kids. I mean, we're constantly doing things together that have nothing to do with basketball. So those things just bond people, right? And so we spend a lot of our time together. We have fun. And so those things always, they sort themselves out when we're in it together, and I think what happens when you focus on off the floor stuff, meaningful stuff, fun stuff as a group is to get to a point where each player's thinking about their impact from a leadership standpoint on how it affects the group and not just themselves. And that's a big deal, like how am I impacting us in getting off the me or my to us and we, So those, thanks for referencing that. The off the floor stuff is critical to any group's success, right? So, or at least that's how we view it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how would your players describe you as a leader? Kind of what's your leadership style all about?
I'm crazy positive. I'm crazy. I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm a super positive. We have a truckload of fun. That's the deal. Basketball, athletics, especially basketball, it's a fun game. It's a fun game. And so it's meant to be fun. Guys play it, girls play it because it's a fun game. So we put all of our eggs in that basket, right? We're going to have fun. You're not going to knock us off fun. Mm-hmm. So, that's the biggest thing, right? And so there's, like we talked about earlier, there's no negative with the outcomes, right? Winning or losing. Like people might say, well, there's winning and then there's lessons. No, there's lessons in both. Those are both outcomes, right? So we just have fun. We learn. We try to get a little bit better. We compete a lot. Very, very few drills. A whole lot of competitions and practice, and so it's a great sign when you get to, mid-February, early February, where guys are still in the gym after your practice playing. They don't want practice to end. That's the scene in our practices is they're having fun. They don't want it to end. Even when we do finally end practice, they're in there. We're shooting games with each other, and that's a fresh, vibrant, together team. In terms of the coaching style, that's the environment that we want to create. And then from, I don't see myself above them. Our staff doesn't see themselves above them. We're one of them. We have standards that we all adhere to. And we're more like guides, to what they're doing, right? And like where they want to go. So I think that's an important distinction between how we do stuff is I don't see us as coaches, see us as guides and helping them get where they aspire to be individually and then collectively, right? Mm-hmm. It's there's lessons in everything, and there's never a time when you have to be super critical, unless it has to do with academics or social well-being, right? Those things are non-negotiables. But
of course,
in terms of the team stuff, we're just there to help them and give, hey, what about this? What about that? And they might have an idea that's better than what we have. And that's okay. We don't have the answers. I can tell you that right now. So we say, hey, if you have an idea, let us know. You might be right. And so we'll look at it and talk about it, and we'll grow. And so I think it's a very when we greet each other, it's not bumps, it's not high fives, it's hugs. Mm-hmm. I mean, to a player, to a coach. So we're really, really close, and we work at creating that environment where people say family a lot. It's cliche and all that, brotherhood. I don't know what we are, but we care about each other. And so they would say that we're in it together, and it's theirs, right? They own it. They don't rent it.
Yeah. No, that's great. Now let's talk about the vision for your program. What would you like to see from this team down the road?
Well, we've kind of already established that, it's about teaching them how to be successful in a group environment and giving them the best experience while having a truckload of fun that they could possibly have. Nothing's more important than that outside of their social and academic well-being, right? In terms of the basketball stuff, the destination is without a doubt a national championship and to get in that conversation. And that's exciting. That's invigorating. That's stressless. That's anxietyless. That's fun. So that's what we're building towards. That's what and you like say a lot, you recruit to win and you coach to teach, right? And so like we're recruiting to win. And so we feel like it's just a matter of time here before we're in that conversation, hopefully a lot sooner than later. And that's how we're recruiting, because everybody at Redlands wins. It's a great thing. And it's the first place that I've been where all the rest of the programs win.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
I've come from other places where no one wins, and so it's like, boy, it's so exciting to see football, women's basketball. Look at our women's basketball program. They're phenomenal. Baseball's great. Soccer's great. Softball's great. So it's exciting to be in that environment and to want to do our part to go, hey, let's see what we can do about becoming national level too. So that's the destination of the program for sure.
And you've been at that stage before when you were at Whitman, bringing that team to that level of success, and you can do the same exact thing here, and you've already seen it.
Well, what's when you get older, I guess, right? You've been in a lot of places, and you fail a lot, and you learn a whole lot of lessons in those things. Like we first crossed that bridge at Puget Sound, right? We were there for 5 years, and in the last 3 years, like Puget Sound had one winning season in 9 years. That was whatever it was 20 years ago, but like we ended up with the second highest winning percentage in Division III and going to Elite Eight, Sweet 16 at Puget Sound, right? So Whitman was kind of like, okay, let's run it back. Mm-hmm. Maybe at that point in time, maybe the worst athletic department, in the country or close. And we took that to the highest winning percentage of any collegiate program over the last 4 years, right? So, any collegiate basketball program, think about that. So it's exciting to be in a place where you're like, wow, we might be able to do some things here if we do it right. And we work super hard because we've got great support. Our athletic director, by the way, Jeff Martinez, is phenomenal. And to work for him and to be in this athletic department where everybody roots for each other, I've never been in that environment. We've never been in that environment as a staff. So it's super exciting.
Yeah, no, that's great. And we've talked about this, you as a leader, your leadership style. What's your coaching philosophy? What do you breed and talk to the players about a lot throughout the season?
In terms of style of play or just in terms of what?
Yeah, just you can talk about your style of play. Are you a running gun kind of team, or just philosophy? Yeah. Or is there like some quotes there that you really preach to your team throughout the season?
A next play is a big one. We're heavily into the mental game. So we visualize together. We meditate together. We have affirmations. We have phone affirmations with video clips. We're really into what's happening now, right? What's important now? Win, right? What's important now? And not worrying about the stuff like you'll hear us say in games, hey, next play, don't worry about it. Next play, we'll figure it out. There's no negative to what's going on, right? So getting them conditioned and okay to failing is probably, that's the number one task. They're so worried to fail that they don't grow, right? And you need to fail to grow. So in terms of style of play with how we do play with a full roster, right? And we're excited about that because we're going to have one for the first time.
Yes.
We run and we pressure and we go as deep as, 12, 13, 14 guys at a time. So, it's an exciting style of play. Wherever we've been, we've filled the gym. So, our gym is super loud. So I'm excited for that. We've only had 4 home games at Redlands because of the pandemic where we've had people in the stands or allowed to be in the stands. 4, so it's like, so we got 7 of our non-conference games at home next year. So great. Pretty excited about that. But we run and gun and pressure and the rest of it kind of takes care of itself.
Of course. Getting Courier Gym packed, making it a tough place to play. We want to make sure it's one of the toughest places in Division III to be at for sure. How have you been attacking recruiting this offseason? It's been an education. I was unaware of the level of player that we could get here.
the other places that when we've been, you would recruit all year long, and then you would build a relationship, and that's some of what's happening here. But the diversity of the academic programs that Redlands has, you have professional programs, you have a liberal arts education, you have a school of business, you have tremendous graduate programs, great merit packages, and then one of the most beautiful campuses, in the country, really. Southern Cal sells too. So, I mean, we're seeing kids. Up until 2 weeks ago, we probably had 4 to 6 kids per week on campus. Wow. The whole way, if not 2 or 3 like a day. So we're hitting it in the teeth. I think one of the things that we've had to learn here as a staff is to be patient. The male ego, as we all know, they all want to wait. They want to wait and try to go to Division I or whatever. And so you've got to be patient in waiting for the best student athletes late. And so we've been patient, and that's hard sometimes because you want to be done with recruiting. I mean, it's tiresome and it never ends. So we're almost there, but we're almost there being done by choice, right? Not by necessity. So we're waiting, and it's calculated, and we're trying to get guys that can help us go and get the whole thing, So pretty excited about that. We're having an amazing class. We already had an elite group coming back. So it's exciting. Yeah, we're real excited.
That's great. Now, I know this is going to be a tough question for you, but picking up on maybe the most memorable moment for you as a coach this past year. I know it's a tough one too, because there's quite a few, but
we already talked about it. The best moment was when we lost in the conference tournament, and seeing our locker room at the end. Because you don't know how that's going to look. If your culture's not intact, and ours is an elite relationship based culture. That's what we're aiming for. So. I've been times, in other programs I've been an assistant where guys just grab bags and leave the room, and he goes here and they goes there. Our guys were arm in arm throughout the locker room, just, pouring, just weeping, and, in being experienced. We talked about being, older like I am, and I've been down this road. That was the greatest moment, because I'm like, boy, like these guys will remember this journey for the rest of their lives because they cared about each other. And that's exactly how it should look if you're doing it right. And you can't make it happen that way. So that was the greatest moment because I knew that every one of those guys got something special out of it, and that our culture had been laid. And that was very, very satisfying because we work hard at it.
Yeah. Wow. That's probably one of the most memorable moments that I've ever heard of. Most people would think of the wins or some highlight, but to talk about that, yeah. I get where you're coming from, and that's outstanding.
Yep.
What differentiates the University of Redlands to other like institutions, and kind of what drew you to coach here at the U of R?
What was the last part, Lance?
What differentiates the University of Redlands to other like institutions, and then what drew you to coach here at the U of R?
I've always felt that University of Redlands was a sleeping giant, sleeping tiger, whatever you want to call it. I was fortunate enough when I coached at Whitman to be their psych rep when they made the tournament in 2013. They played at Whitworth, and I got to see the inner workings of Jeff Martinez, Ducey, of course, who I just adore and think is an amazing coach. And so then I started looking at how the rest of the programs were doing. We played down here a bunch. There's so many positives here to build something. It has everything. Redlands has everything. When you look at, the environment, it's welcoming, it's beautiful. The programs are amazing. The funding's fantastic. Athletics means something here. And I'm going to say that again. Athletics means something here. There's basketball courts, volleyball courts in the middle of the campus. There's a Bulldog in the middle of the campus. There's gray and maroon Fridays. Our athletic director has a prominent voice across campus. Our dean of students, Donna Edelman, she's it's they're expecting you to win and do well, and it's like athletics is a big deal here, and so it's not always like that. Like in the other places that I've been, that was not the case. So what what drew me here is knowing that was probably the case and seeing all the positives that I already knew. And then once I got here, I'm like, wow, who knew? So, it's very seldom are things maybe better on the inside than what you thought, even though you thought that they're pretty on the outside. Then you get in there and you're like, wow, it's even better than you thought. Well, that's the case here, So I wanted to be in a place, my wife's from the Bay. So for us to get here and to be back in California was a big deal. But then also be in a place where we could play for it every single year. And people think because at Whitman where it was, like maybe that was just an easy thing to do there. It was incredibly difficult to get it to a national level and to keep it there. And we're hoping that not only can we get it to a national level here because of all the strengths that I've already talked about Redlands, but that we can keep it there and maybe even do a little bit more than that. So it's pretty exciting.
No, that is exciting. The last part of the interview with you, we kind of want to get to know you a little bit as the head coach for the University of Redlands men's basketball team. So I have a few questions for you. Just first thing that pops to your head for these questions. First thing, what's your favorite food? Or what's your go-to?
Boy, I don't know. Probably peanut butter toast with blueberries on it.
Okay. How about favorite music? Do you like to listen to anything?
Carbohydrates, protein, right?
Yeah.
Blueberries are a superfood. That's a great little snack, but it's also a meal. Okay.
Right. Yeah. No, I like it.
Okay.
How about music? You like to listen to some music?
I like anything that's good. I like a little balance. I like everything but the country twang stuff. That's the stuff that I can't handle. But jazz, rap, hip hop.
Like it all.
Classic. It's all good. Yeah.
Nice. And then how about like movie genre? Anything you kind of like to sit down and watch something? I don't know how much time you have to do that with all of your
Well, we have a 10-year-old and a 14-year-old, and so whatever they're watching is what I have to watch.
Okay.
So I'm a big Marvel guy.
Okay.
Infinity War is one of my favorite movies.
Cool.
So when the kids go to sleep, sometimes I'll get into the deeper stuff. Heat and maybe a big zombie guy.
Okay.
Very few good zombie movies out there, but James Bond sometimes. Yeah.
Okay. And then the last one, favorite destination spot, or if there's anywhere in the world you want to go to, where would it be?
I think we're here. The foreign trips that we've taken in the past, we've gone to Costa Rica. That was amazing as a team. The Bahamas was a lot of fun as a team. We had a foreign trip there. I played a lot when I was playing internationally and when we traveled the world that way. I love being in Florida because that's been a getaway spot for us. My stepfather has a place out there, and we've been going there since I've been 8 years old. So we're like, I just got back from the vacation, and that was a great place to be. The beach is right there, and it's like, well, we kind of have all of this at Redlands too. There's blue skies and palm trees, and so it was like trading one place for the other.
Yes.
Without the beach being outside your window, right? So we love it here, and big time's where you're at, right? Frosty Western, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We feel like we're in the big time, and we're loving it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Bridge, that's all the time I have with you for today. But I want to thank you so much for hopping on with me and doing this interview here on the Bulldog Sports Network.
Lance, like I said, you're a beast. I appreciate you. I think you do an awesome job, and I'm super excited for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Now, make sure to stay tuned in for our next installment of Coach's Corner here on GoRedlands.com. Next week, we're going to sit down with University of Redlands head football coach Jim Good. Once again, I'm Lance Frady, joined by Eric Bridgeland. Go Dogs.